This is Black Views, bringing you the Black news. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Okay, so today we have a video snippet here of Joy Reid and actor Wendel Pierce from The Wire. Now, in opening, you're going to hear Joy Reid talk about black women on the rise. And, as a black man, I want all of us to be on the rise, black man and black women, as well as our children. So when you ask the question, what black women are on the rise? I mean, would that be the mothers of the black children that are killing each other? What black women are really on the rise other than the Democratic Shills? Who's really getting benefit from this? Because when you say that black women are on the rise, you insinuate that they don't need anything. They don't need anything because they're on the rise. They're good to go. And then out of all of that, when were the black men on the rise? So it's almost as if you're intentionally downing the black man and just you're escalating the black woman. It shouldn't even be that way because we're both together. Black women and black men are black people. And we need quality leadership, and we need quality parenting, as well as quality policies. So without further ado, let's go ahead and let's get to the video.
Great Wendel Pierce, and you are here tonight in a different capacity from being an artist. Talk about what you are doing here at the Democratic National Convention.
Well, I've always told the people in my community and as well.
He ain't doing shit. He just shilling. That's all he doing, shilling.
That I was taught as a child by my parents. We have to exercise our right of self-determination. And this could not be a more profound time to be here to make sure that our democracy is protected, that our rights and freedoms are held on to.
Our rights and freedoms. He doesn't speak of any right or freedom in particular. We still have the same rights and the same freedoms that we didn't have or had than we did in the 60s. Nothing has changed.
And then we make history, too. And so that's why I wanted to be here. I'm very much involved in the campaign. Started over a year ago raising money. Have several fundraisers with the vice president. And now to see her right at this moment about to be nominated for the presidential nominee of this party is very special.
And you're helping to put her name in nomination?
I put her name in nomination from the great state of Louisiana, where I'm from, and I'm so excited about that.
I want to. We talked a little bit not too long ago about the South, and sort of Democrats have in some ways walked away in some parts of the South. There's not as much emphasis on states like Florida. There's a renewed interest, of course, in North Carolina and Georgia. But writ large, the Democrats have sort of seen the South as unwinnable. That's clearly not.
Still, remember, there's no tangibles being discussed here. They're talking about some strategy that has nothing to do with policies or tangibles. It's just unbelievable.
Not true based on the demographics, based on some recent elections. What would you say to Democrats who are doubtful that the South can be brought back into the fold for the Democratic Party?
It's really interesting. We stand here on the anniversary of Fannie Lou Hamer coming to this very convention in 1964 saying...
In 1964. Do you see how election after election, it's like they want to go back to the civil rights era that we didn't even benefit from, actually. Affirmative action or any of those policies that came out of, we really haven't benefit from it. And in fact, he's speaking as if there's some type of success, and this is the time to redo it.
See us as these black delegates from Mississippi who were being denied their rights. And that part of our party that was sick, actually, those Dixiecrats, those segregationists, they left the party and went to the other.
They left the party and went to the other. There's no proof of that. There's no proof of that.
Rightfully so. We don't want them in our party. And they started their Southern strategy, which has worked over these decades. But
what is the Southern strategy? What exactly is he talking about? Who is he talking to?
Should have a new Southern strategy. because in all the southern states, the black population is 30 to 33% of the voting population. And imagine if we actually exercised that right to vote, we would have such an impact. And what was proof of that was Mike.
We exercise the right to vote to have an impact on what? What exactly is he talking about?
Espy just a few cycles ago, who would have been the senator from the state of Mississippi, a black senator from the state of Mississippi, and he only lost by a few points. And the party did not give him the resources at the time because they thought that was impossible for us to win that seat from such a red southern state. But it is proof in the pudding that we have in Louisiana and in Mississippi, in Alabama, even in Florida, a larger percentage of people there, black voting. I'm an actor, so I always think audience, right?
Hold on. He's an actor, so everyone is thought of as an audience. That's why he's not talking about anything in particular. He's going around about, and this is what you call babbling. They're not talking about anything. They're not talking about anything that's going to benefit black children, black women, black men, or the black family, period.
A black voting population that actually is a voting bloc that would have a greater impact if we actually focused on them, educated them to what we can do, and bring them out to the polls to vote for us.
And President Obama, former President Obama, and Michelle Obama are going to be speaking here tonight. It is a big moment for Chicago, obviously. This is their town. What does that mean to you as a black man who had already the...
Now think about it. That's their town. This is really big for them. But it's a lot of violence. A lot of crime going on. That's focused on by the media, that is. A lot of things going on with Chicago that's not right now. An invasion of immigrants. But this is their hometown. And they were supposed to be, Obama was supposed to be the first African American. And look at the people from where he's from. That's why I'm telling you, man, this is all bullshit. When you start listening to this and you start looking at the results, it's bullshit.
The opportunity to vote for a first black president, to see that former first black president speak up on behalf of the potential first black woman, Asian American woman, and woman president for the United States.
First of all, it's an example, it's emblematic of the talent that we have in our party, the talent that we have in our community, black excellence on display, the talent of the women in our community, that we are...
Here it goes. He about to do it. It's the talent of the black woman in the community. And don't get me wrong. There are talented black women, but not in this Democratic Party. Okay, so listen to what I'm saying. I'm not saying that black women are not talented, but I'm saying as far as this party, it's not beneficial to black people.
About to elect a woman 60 years after Fannie Lou Hamer was denied even an opportunity to sit amongst these delegates, that this black woman was denied 60 years ago, and this black woman will now be the president.
And they're forcing this on us. This black woman, this black woman. This is an Indian, okay, that has dark skin. Like all the Indians in India. So if they all came here, we would be saying that, well, they are here. They're all in IT. They're in every they're in every good job that requires, a minority. They're in every good job. And suddenly they're black because it's Kamala. Think about that. That shit is just, the reasoning is just, and look who's selling us downriver. Our own people here are selling this shit to us. They're selling it to us.
Of the United States is a powerful thing. It is also something that, as good as that feels, remember, it was because of Barack Obama and the people that could not accept just the image of that black man.
It was because of Barack Obama. For 2 terms, we sat here and we watched Barack Obama, thinking that he was going to do something, thinking that, you know, a black man will be in power and it will finally be opportunities for black men. And all he told us was to pull our pants up. That's all he said to black men.
And in that position, that started the sort of MAGA movement. It is reactionary. You know, after the March on Washington, and it was so successful, I forget which leader said it, but they said, well, no, now we have to wait to see what the response is going to be.
And see how they keep taking us back to the March on Washington with Martin Luther King and, well, you know, when these people said things about atrocities that were happening in America and spoke on policies that were needed to resolve these issues. And today, they speak of that time as if, as if something has happened because they got an opportunity. Because they have gotten an opportunity. And they're just selling us shills and tethers.
So that's why I don't think this race is going to be easy. I think we will win it, but it's not going to be easy because there's so many people who are just so adamantly against a woman
and listen to
being
this.
president of the United States. They cannot accept the idea of...
They keep going back to saying, because it's a woman. I don't think that it's because it's a woman. I think it's because of the policies. And this particular woman has nothing to say. She hasn't done an interview. She does taped interviews. She doesn't do them live. She does them taped. And then you have to see little snippets of it before you actually see the interview. It's crazy.
Of a woman even voting. We're talking about in the 21st century, in 2024, there are people who have issues with women voting. It was only a few decades ago.
People are going to have issues with everything. This is all cockamamie bull. This is all just babbling and rhetoric used to cause confusion, especially among ourselves. So you will never see the true narrative that is before you. And for those that are emotional, this will play right into their little fancy.
When you could not get a credit card without a man's approval. So we have to remember that.
And ask yourself, who was it that, who made that law? Who made that rule? What does that have to do with black families? Okay. We know there was a time where black women, black men, black people, period, couldn't do things. But he speaks of it as if it's just one group, just black women, and men ran around here with success, and we just we casted the black woman to the side. This is how they make it all sound, man. And I just think it's just ridiculous, and people are gonna pay for their sins.
That sort of ignorance, because that's what it is like a chronic disease. It morphs, and it's an amorphic, ever-changing thing. So from generation to generation, we have to be vigilant to fight against it and not expect that once we have a victory, that it goes away. It doesn't go away, and we have to be vigilant.
Now, did he give any advice because he's a black man, obviously, right? But did he give any advice for young black men? And then if you look over to the right, there's just some black woman right here that stays in the red dress in the scene. You see, this is all folly. She just stays in the scene, showing her butt, going back and forth, showing her little tight dress. And this guy sits here and he's speaking on nothing, just jargon.
I'm going to ask one exit question. I'm taking full advantage of my opportunity to speak with you. Yesterday, we saw the Reverend Jesse Jackson come into this space and receive his flowers on that.
And look how the girl in the red dress just stands right. She knows where to stand. She knows exactly where to stand. She stands right in the middle of that, and she shows her little self. This is the Democratic Party, because this is what's important. Fat asses and juicy booties. That's all that's important.
Same stage where we're going to see Barack Obama tonight. It was a profound moment. He stood on the stage with just a sea of fellow activists,
Yes.
including Reverend Sharpton, is somebody he trained in the movement. It was really a profound moment. And Mark Morial, of course.
The National Urban League.
Yeah, and it said something about the passing of the torch. You are an artist, and the arts really have been meaningful in terms of moving us forward as a people.
Yes.
And so my compound question for you, sir, number one, what can the arts bring to the table in terms of moving our country to see past the beauty of that image of passing the torch to actually make it pragmatic? Like, what can the arts contribute? And then the second question I'm going to ask you is speak to black men who may be...
Okay, here go the bullshit. Here go the shaming tactic. It's black men. Okay. Speak to black men. So I would think that you would begin to speak about things that black men need to get better, to do better. I would be thinking about policies to assist black men that have been victims of discrimination over the years. You would think that he would talk about black fathers, programs that could be put in place for black fathers to do better. You would think he would talk about programs that would be put in place to keep black families together, men and women together. But this is what he says, and this is what's so diabolical about the Democratic Party. It's all a sham. Anybody with a reasonable mind, a logical thinking, can see right past this. Let's go.
dubious that this is a moment for them as a black woman is rising. What would you say to them?
Well, first of all, as an actor and as an artist, that's the role of art. Entertainment is a byproduct of what I do. My actual role is to make sure that we come together, and what thoughts are to the individual, art is to the community as a whole. We reflect on who we are, gather in a forum like this, declare what our values are, and then go out and act on them. That is what the role of art is a place where we gather. You know, you feel that spirit in church sometimes, so you can be emboldened.
You feel that spirit in church. See, this is all bullshit. The setup was coming next. Listen.
To go out and live your life. That's what the actor and the artist is supposed to do. And I have an obligation to the long line of the tradition of men like Harry Belafonte and Ossie Davis and Paul Robeson, who were always challenging the status quo and exercising.
Now, this is the first time I heard this nigga speak. This is the first time I've heard him speak. I'm not saying he hasn't before, but this is the first time I heard him speak. But he's saying what his duty is as an actor, as a black actor.
The right of self-determination for themselves and for their community. I have an obligation to their legacy to do that. And as a black man, why should we fear the rise of a black woman?
Let's break that down. Why are black men fearing the rise of black women? It doesn't make any sense, because if I was a black man who had a black woman that was rising, okay, in the workplace, rising in everything that she does, you would think it would make my life easier as a man, because she's rising. So why would I hate that? Just to hate that a black woman is rising. And I'm a black man. You think the kids would appreciate that too, right? Because they would live better lives. The husband will have a better life because the black woman's rising. Okay? So you would think all the discrimination that we are prey to, that we could say, hey, my woman is rising. But this is not the discussion that we're having here.
Any black man that has an issue with a black woman rising, then they have to look at their own inadequacy. What would make you so fearful of someone who was so beloved of you, who was so beloving to you, like your mother and your grandmother and your aunts and your sisters, that you...
So all the black women that we love, we somehow supposed to equate this to Kamala Harris. You know, we love our mothers and our sisters, you know, but we know they do dumb shit too, right? But at the same time, we just supposed to accept Kamala, who has no tangibles, no policies, nothing for black people, who doesn't even understand the black community. She just went to a HBCU like all the other white people that go to HBCUs. She did nothing. I mean, there's even white people that join the fraternity. They're white AKAs. Did you know that? They're white Omegas. Did you know that? When did we just start calling them black?
cannot be proud and embolden yourself when you see someone from your community rise up. And I say to those black men who have an issue politically, you have every right to say, what have you done for me? And I'll give you the laundry list.
There you go. Here it goes. We have every right to ask, and that's what we're asking. That's all we're doing is asking. We're asking what he's about to tell us. Let's go.
The community banking system and legislation from the 90s.
Okay, so the community banking system from the 90s, if this was done in the 90s, 30 years later, you would think that it would benefit us now, right? Okay, let's go.
The $2 billion that the Biden-Harris administration just gave to black farmers.
They gave $2 billion to everybody, including black farmers. Okay, so, all right, let's go with that.
The empowerment zones that Mr. Trump talks about all the time came from Barack Obama. And what
it came from Barack Obama, but what did Barack Obama do with the empowerment zones?
He did, and all of his buddies, they just got them and just used them as tax write-offs instead of actually doing something in the community. So when you go to those...
I thought that we were talking about what Kamala has done, a laundry list has done.
Those black neighborhoods, and you see those boarded up windows, that's just a tax shell for some...
What exactly has she done? I thought he was talking about that.
Billionaire, while they don't bring any businesses to the community. But it's because of the empowerment zones that the Democrats have created for black entrepreneurs,
They created empowerment zones.
Community benefit a development legislation that allows banks to give and invest in our communities.
Yeah, this is what the Democrats have done. They have hooked up the banks from the 90s that are giving to black people today. Are you listening to this shit?
Give you an opportunity. The money given to HBCUs, the student debt relief, all of that. If that's not enough for you to vote.
Hey man, listen. They keep throwing out HBCUs. Listen, there are a lot of black people that do not go to college. In fact, there's so many black people that do not go to college. They don't see the time to go to college because the shit that's going on in their life that doesn't allow them to study doesn't give them time to do these things. They're not addressing any of those things that black people go to. And this guy is going to, that black people go through. And this guy is going to sit here and tell you the laundry list of things that Kamala and the Democrats have done for us.
For this campaign, why don't you go to the other and hold up a sign behind him?
And look at Jerry Reed. Is she laughing because, oh, is she smiling? I'm sorry. Is she smiling because she thinks we're stupid? It has to be. And or she's smiling because I gotta smile.
At a rally and tap danced. That's what they want from you.
They want us to go to a rally and tap dance at Trump's rally. Why? You want to keep deferring to Trump? We're asking you. We're asking you in the blue. You, dude. Stop sending us over there. You want us, we're Democrats, you want our vote. We're asking you.
Said succinctly and with passion, the great Wendel Pierce. Thank you so much for taking some time with us.
There's blood on that ballot box. Remember those who died in the rivers of Alabama and Mississippi? There's blood on that ballot.
See? The people that died in the rivers of Mississippi and the blood. And this has to do with right here. LGBTQ, abortion rights. There's no real policies. Okay? He's going to say the rising of black women. This is in closing, by the way. The rising of black women. And let's keep in mind, like black women make black men. All right, they will have you think that black men just fall somewhere out the sky and shit, and it's all about black women. Black women are creating black men. So why would suddenly they be against these black women that are rising? And this is what I talk about. These are people here that makes hundreds of $1,000s a year, and they have money, and they're living a good life. And there's nothing wrong with that. They have a right, it's fruits of their labors. But you can't get up here and sell us bullshit. And just sell us shit and tell us that the banking system in the 90s. I'm still baffled by that one, the banking system in the 90s, because I lived through the 90s. That was my day. And I don't remember the banking system as being friendly to us. And you're going to have Democratic shills and supporters. They're going to see this video and they're going to say, like, he doesn't know what he's talking about. I know exactly what the hell I'm talking about. We sat here and we went through every point that Mr. Wendel Pierce spoke on. And there was nothing of tangibles. There was nothing there that would make a serious voter want to vote. So I'm going to leave it at that. I stole this little avatar here of Mr. Luke Skywalker, the Tether. I stole that from Tariq Nasheed. And I'll pay you back, brother. I appreciate you. And I also want to say this is Black Views, bringing you the black news. Thank you and have a great day.